TikTok, TikTok. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about getting TikTok into your private practice. We cannot go a day without hearing about TikTok in one way or another. So let's wrestle this beast to the ground once and for all, figure out how to make it work. I'm Carl White, principal at Mark Advisory Group, which is a healthcare marketing agency, and I'm also the host of PracticeCare. And the mission for both is the same, and that's to help private practice owners stay private. It's what they want. And let's face it, care is better when your doctor, your provider has the most clinical freedom he or she is going to have to make the best decisions for you and with you. And that can only happen when they own the place. And today, my guest is Kristina Hall. Kristina Hall owns and runs all social media. She is truly the master of all things social media marketing, from creating the content all the way out to emailing it to other people and reusing the content. She prides herself on creating long-lasting client relationships and capturing the voices of the businesses she serves. I've known Kristina for a couple of years. These things are true, not just words on a page. She really gets deep into the clients, understanding their differences, and figures out what's best for them. Kristina, thank you for coming on PracticeCare.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here, Carl.
Yeah, it's great. Social media is this vast thing that everyone acknowledges. Some love it, some hate it, most tolerate it, but they just don't know what to do. They just don't know what to do in their busy day on what good toleration looks like. So we're going to talk about TikTok today and how to get the most out of it. First, just fill in your background for us a bit. Tell us a bit more about you. What's the long and windy road that got you into social media for about the past 4 or 5 years, right, in your own business? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been 5 years in my own business, but I
Wow.
actually started to freelance back in 2011. And so that's where the journey began. I had just graduated college. Went to University at Albany. I had a journalism degree and I had no idea what to do next. That's when we hit a really bad recession. It was just really hard to find a job. And so I quite literally accidentally got into this. I
Hmm.
always say it started with a Craigslist ad. And I
Nice.
literally, I was
Nice.
at an internship for a production company. I always wanted to do post production. I was like, oh, or I wanted to be on camera, whatever it was. And then I realized working at that job, never mind. And so
You
I saw
didn't know what your life's work was going to be at 22 years
no,
old?
it
Come
was awful. Right,
on,
exactly.
Kristina. You're right.
I'm almost 34 and I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I'll let you
But
know
yeah,
if I ever figure it out. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just essentially I saw a Craigslist ad and it said social media manager wanted, and that's where the journey began. I went on to freelance. When I started, social media marketing was like, I want to say it wasn't even really a thing yet.
Yeah.
It
What
was
was a day in the life back then for social media marketing?
I started out by doing a lot of transcribing. So I was transcribing by hand a ton of video. Like that's where I really started. And then from there, I just every year would pick up a client on the side of my day job and help them with social media. I worked with radio show hosts, I've worked with fitness influencers. I do a ton with healthcare now. So over the years of trying to figure it all out, I kept managing social media on the side. And then 2018 hit, and that's when I said no more. And I went full time for myself, and that's where Hall Social started. It's been
Love
a
it.
wild 12 years. 12 years. When I said that out loud recently, I was like, whoa, I've been doing something for 12 years.
Yeah. Right. And 12 years and like social years, it's like dog years. It's just,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah.
don't blink. It's going to change. All right, cool. So, yeah. So you said you got a ton of healthcare. So, tell us a bit about your clients that are in healthcare.
Yeah, so I work with all different types, but my primary ones are healthcare business consultant, like yourself.
Mhm.
And then I also work with a lot of dermatologists. So I work with a lot of aesthetics, and that's been really, really fun. Over the years, I've worked with dental as well, but I would say that dermatologists are truly, like truly my bread and butter.
And are these like your sort of your TikTok client? I mean, TikTok clients is not the way to say it, but they are using TikTok among other tools.
Exactly. Yeah. And actually, my one client who, out of all my clients, is doing the best on TikTok. I mean, he's just completely crushing it. And he uses all the platforms, but primarily we focus on Instagram and TikTok. And what I've been actually noticing with him in 2023
And
versus
what type of practice?
He's dermatology.
Dermatology. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and so and they have aesthetics as well, but he, when we first started out on TikTok, we were, doing a lot better over on Instagram, right? Because TikTok takes time, and we've
Hmm.
been over on TikTok since 2020. And then I've noticed that over the first quarter of this year, he's just like all of a sudden we're like, whoa, things are really picking up on TikTok. But like I said, we started in 2020. And the reason why I said that is because it takes time and a lot of
Hmm.
adjustment over there. So
Hmm.
yeah, I I would say that not every healthcare practice should be on TikTok. I don't think it's necessary for everybody, but especially if you're somebody like in the dental world or the derm world, the TikTok's going to be a gold mine for
And
you.
what is it like when you say that? When you say some, maybe not so much, others, it makes a lot of sense. What's the delineation there?
Yeah, so I would say that it's really comes down to the users, right? And so one thing that's become really, really trendy over the last couple of years is cosmetics, right? People are really into skincare. They're diving so heavy into it. It's so trendy now. And that's why
Hmm.
I see dermatologists do really, really well over there because people are actually searching for that information. Dental can also relate back to cosmetics, right? I've heard people getting Botox for, dental reasons and things like that. So
Hmm.
again, that industry just does really, really well on TikTok because a lot of people are searching for that kind of content
So
right
is
now.
it the trend that they're searching for and they're using TikTok, or is it because in both cases those are really super visual things and TikTok's all video and that, or is it both? Like, what's the chicken? What's the egg? What came first there? What do
Yeah,
you think?
I would say it's both, right? I would say that there's like, first off, I would say there's a lot of beauty influencers, right? Like, there's tons of people online, like beauty influencers and stuff, that are talking about different skincare routines and different aesthetic surgeries and things like that. And
Hmm.
so, what you do find is a lot of those people are just giving like their personal experience, right? They don't actually know um, the scientific background on all of it. And so that's why I think it's really cool for these doctors to come in because now they can truly educate and they can also visually show, right? So you could do before and afters. You can show you doing a video of a procedure, things like that. That's the stuff people really want to see. Ironically enough, there is a doctor, he's super popular, Dr. Miami, and he started out and he does plastic surgery. And he
Okay.
started out huge on Snapchat. And so that's like another industry that does really well over on TikTok too. Because again, it's visual. You're able
Right.
to see what the process, see the procedure, see the results.
Okay. Okay. So this next question is kind of a big one. There's a lot of different parts to it, but the question's
Mhm.
simple. It's what does it take to be effective on TikTok? I mean, if I take
Okay.
your last answer, there's, does the nature of what you do fit? Does it
Yes,
fit what people are looking for? Are you filling a gap, right? So you're all the, you said the influencers who know what good skin looks like, but don't know what it takes. That's what you're
exactly.
doing. So there's a lot going on in that question. So, but I want to leave it
It
there.
is.
What does it take to be effective on TikTok?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think even though I said that not every industry needs to be on TikTok, I still believe that every industry could be on TikTok. And so
Okay.
it doesn't come down to necessarily only your industry. Of course, you want to think about your ideal client. Are they really over there? And we'll talk about that after.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what you really want to ask yourself is, do I have the capacity to put the time into TikTok? The thing with TikTok, in order to be effective, you really have to post like a lot of content.
Mm.
TikTok is truly quantity over quality. So you could have a
That's
video.
so disheartening. That
Isn't
is
that weird?
so disheartening to hear. Just
I
flood it
know.
with crap and you could just rise to, I mean,
Don't
hopefully you don't
flood it
stay
with
at the top, you know.
crap.
Well, I mean, hey, you just get out there. So yeah.
Well,
But
it's that's what it comes down to. It comes getting out there. So it's more so when I say quality, not necessarily like the what you're saying, right? Not necessarily I'm talking about like the aesthetics. So where Instagram is like heavily into the aesthetics of how a video looks, right? They want people to be doing fun transitions and this and that. TikTok isn't exactly like that. Actually, I find that the videos for not only my clients, but myself, where I'm just talking face to camera, do the best, where I'm just educating my audience. And so,
mm,
the quantity thing really is because you want to post more to feed the algorithm. And so,
mm,
if you're somebody who is like, well, I'm only going to post one video a week, don't bother getting on TikTok.
wow.
If
Okay.
if you're somebody who is like, okay, I'm going to post 4 videos a week. Don't bother getting on TikTok. And I say that because in the
Was
beginning,
kind of hopeful on that second one.
yeah,
Kind of pulled
no,
the rug out from, okay, keep
I
going.
pulled the rug right
Thanks.
from underneath you. But what it comes down to is if you're a brand new account, then you got to feed that algorithm with the quantity. And so I always tell clients, like, if you're ready to put in the time and energy into this, then let's do it. It's a collaborative effort. But in the beginning, you want to be posting like 15 videos a week. Mhm. In the beginning, and they don't have to be complicated. They can be short 10-second videos, right? There's so many different ways to present video on TikTok so that it's not overcomplicating, right?
Hmm.
But it is effort. Now, once you grow the account, my dermatologist client, as I was stating before, now that he's been established on TikTok and we have a good following and everything, we post probably 4 videos a week, but we
Okay.
couldn't always do that. So I know it's scary when I say 15 videos a week. It's not forever, but it is important in the beginning.
Well, if you plan it out, you could shoot them all in one sitting, right? And you
Yeah,
just kind of cut them up and post them throughout the
exactly.
week or whatever makes the most sense. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. You could take a blog and just read the copy, right? And you could break that. That's the beauty of TikTok. You could do 3-part series, right? Where it's like, all right, here's a 3-part series. That's your 3 videos in one day, right? So there's a
Right.
lot of ways you can do it. But yeah, that's what it comes down to be effective on TikTok, to put in the time.
So that's like, all right, so let's say you're willing, all right, I've swallowed that. I'm willing to do it. Christina's telling me so I have to do it. So then what's like the next couple of layers of being effective? Because you
Yeah.
could fill it with crap, right? So I mean, what's what's
Yeah.
what's the rest of the story about being effective?
Yeah. And so you really want to think about, what is my ideal client searching for, right? You really want to think about, what are those keywords that my ideal client is typing into TikTok. Now
Mhm.
you're probably thinking to yourself, well, I don't know, right?
Right.
And so what I love about TikTok is it's a search engine. It's all SEO. And so you can
Mhm.
literally go into TikTok just as you would Google. And I'm gonna maybe type for me, I'll say um, effective treatments for acne, right? I'm going
Okay.
to type in those words, effective treatments for acne, in the search bar of TikTok. From there, you can scroll and you're going to start to see, like, just like on Google, it will give you like a blurb of like questions
Yeah.
that have been asked. It's going to be the same exact thing on TikTok. And so
Hmm.
you're going to be able to find, those keywords that people are actually using, just like you would on Google. And so that's been like the next layer for me, actually, personally, that I've been really implementing, is that SEO, using the keywords that your ideal client is using. So if I want my ideal client to be finding my video on acne, you bet I'm going to be using the word acne over and over and over again
In
in
the
that
video.
video.
Yeah.
And so that's a really fun thing. I find it fun. I think it's a challenge, but it's like a fun challenge with TikTok. Is not only do you want to be saying those keywords in the video verbally, those keywords need to be on the screen. Those keywords need to be in your caption. Those keywords need to be in your hashtags so you can truly rank. It's an
Mm.
SEO game on TikTok. It's really fun.
Which makes it a lot more familiar to some of us.
Yes, familiar, yeah.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
that's why I'm here, and that's why my clients have me, because
Yeah.
I'll do all that for them and then just say,
Right.
"Hey, create these videos for
Yeah.
me."
Say these things, include them, and send them my way, and we'll take care of the rest. Absolutely. Okay, cool. Um, I don't know. One of the conceptions, one of the perceptions is, well, if my ideal client is not a 16-year-old,
Yeah.
why would I bother? Right. So let's just slay this beast. Are teens the only people on TikTok?
No, not at
No.
all.
Only
Not at
teens at
all.
heart, no matter their actual
No.
age.
I actually feel like it's funny. There's a lot of creators that are in the 60 plus club. What my client, he's
Mhm.
59. He'll be 60 this year, so he's older. My other medical clients, they're more in their like 30, 40, so they're a little younger. But I'm not even saying this just to say this. All of my favorite accounts to follow of our people 75 plus. Like, these people are on TikTok, right? They really are. So I would say people of all ranges, right, of all ages are on TikTok. And it does a really good job of feeding that, right, to your algorithm, right? Like, that's what I love. It's like, I don't want to consume teeny bopper content,
Hmm.
and my algorithm does not show me that kind of content. So yeah,
Depending on
it's
what you
not just for
search.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, the SEO is
Interesting.
crazy on TikTok.
Interesting. Interesting. Are
Yeah.
there good tools that help you kind of like in the Google SEO game? There's so many tools you can subscribe to and use that'll help you figure out what to do. Are there
Yeah.
similar tools out there that help you kind
With
of,
TikTok? I don't think
yeah,
so, actually.
no?
It's been like a learning game. It's been, TikTok, I think people have to understand too, it's still pretty new, right?
Hmm.
It's really only been out, what, for maybe 4 years
Something
now?
like that. Yeah.
Something like that. And so that's really new compared to all of the other platforms out there. So
Hmm.
while I wouldn't say there's other tools out there, I'm telling you, TikTok's a resource center. Like, I learned all my SEO tricks from other creators,
Right.
right? From watching the videos and then applying those rules to myself. And that's how I know they work now, right? So, yeah, I will say with TikTok, it's trial and error. And I think that's where the quantity over quality thing really comes in because
Hmm.
it's truly trial and error over on
Hmm.
TikTok. Messy action, like it's not going to be rainbows and butterflies and perfect content, and that's what I love about
Yeah.
it.
It's
It's
funny. Why
cool.
aren't they watching my video? 'Cause they don't know you, man. They just
Yeah,
not yet.
yeah, yeah,
Which, hits the next one. Like, all right, so trial and error means you gotta be able to measure something, right? So
yeah,
what is TikTok able to tell you in terms of how well your videos are
yeah.
working, what's not?
Yeah, metrics, of course, like your
Mhm.
metrics are gonna play a huge role here, and so, I have found that engagement over on TikTok is 10 times better than the other platforms, like,
Hmm.
for real. And so TikTok's gonna be able to give you all of those same metrics that, the other platforms are. Your impressions, so your views, your likes, your comments,
Okay.
your saves, your shares, all of that stuff. TikTok tells you all that stuff. It tells you your playtime. That's one really great thing, right? That you
Yeah.
have access to all the same metrics. And then, right, social media, it's
Hmm.
just social media. Then what I love is we can go to the Google Analytics. We can see if traffic is being driven to
Hmm.
our website from TikTok
Hmm.
specifically, right? You can see the website clicks and stuff over on TikTok as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's really in-depth metrics um, that you can take a look at throughout.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And uh, this is makes it, at least to me, much more familiar.
Yeah.
Um, I've had a couple clients ask me, and I've said to them, well, look, the first thing I can tell you is you got to be willing to do videos pretty much every day,
Yeah.
or enough to cover. And that so far and I'm not trying to kill the conversation, but that kind of kills the conversation. But
Yeah.
it's not surprising. You got to be on. It's just right.
To. I
You
had a
have to
client
be.
ask me at the when we were at the winter conference last year.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, the board asked me, "Oh, should we get on TikTok?" I go, "Do you want to create video every day?" They're like, "No." I go, "Okay, next question."
Yeah. If you tackle
Right?
that one,
Yeah.
yeah, let's go to lunch early. So, so a couple of wrap-up questions. Two questions I ask every guest. The first one is anything you think I should have asked you, but just didn't think to ask you.
No, I think that we really covered it. Like my biggest thing is like you know what? It's just be reasonable with your expectations.
Okay.
My biggest
Yeah.
thing, be
Be
reasonable.
patient and be reasonable.
Yes,
Yes.
patient. And know
Yeah.
that
And what does
social
patience look like? 2 weeks, 2 months? Like what, you
on
know?
social media
Well,
specifically.
let's just zero it on TikTok because that's where we are.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Honestly, I would say 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
But you
I
got to
would
be feeding it the way you've
but you have to
described.
be feeding it as how I
Yeah.
described. Yeah, and I've seen quicker, right? Like,
Sure.
it just depends, and it just depends, but I just find over on TikTok that the users are so much more engaged, right? You're always seeing people talk about comments on TikTok and things like that, right? They're so much
Yeah.
engaged over there. So, yeah, it's a lot of work, but I if you're willing, it's worth it. I
Hmm.
really, like, in my heart of heart, believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other question is, and I have an answer, is that the question is not the only answer. So we've caught somebody's attention. They're like, all right, I'm going to get off the fence and start doing TikTok. Question is, where should they start? And the part of the answer I want to give is you got to figure out, at least do some research to say, what could I talk about that seems like not many others are currently also talking about?
Yeah.
So let's go back to dermatology. You were saying earlier about there's a trillion skin influencers out there, but nobody really knows the science behind it, why it works. And so one of your clients is out there explaining
Yes.
also the before and after, but here's why. And there's just sort of a dearth of that kind of information. If you're a private practice owner, you're a doctor, dentist, whatever, you've got a leg up on why things work the way they do that
Yeah.
a lot of other people don't. So
Yeah.
if you're gonna pour the kind of time Christina's telling you to pour into this, don't be like everybody else. And
Yeah.
there's a trillion people out there, so it's hard to know exactly, but you can certainly see where there's rare, and that's where you can fit in. So that's one thing I would say.
I actually agree with you fully. Like that's what I would say too. Do the research, see what gap you can fill, right? And so maybe you are a dermatologist, right? And you're seeing a ton of misinformation. Debunk that information. I
Mhm,
have another client who's an esthetician and she'll debunk like retinol, right? Like
mhm,
all the secrets that people are telling you. So like put the information out there. So yes,
mhm,
definitely start with the research, see what people are doing, look at people in your industry, see what they're talking about, right? Learn from them
mhm.
so that you can know what gap you can fill. And then again, just messy action. Don't overthink it.
Yeah,
Jump into it. Like I know
yeah.
that's easier said than done, but truly just jump into that. I was on a call yesterday and I said to everybody, I'm like, post that content that you don't necessarily feel totally comfortable in because to you that might be terrible crap content, but for somebody else that could be exactly what they needed to hear. And
Right.
so try to pour into it. Like it's fun and don't do it on your own. If you can avoid it, like don't do it on your own because it is a lot.
Mm,
Yeah.
fair enough. Good stuff. All right, Christina, thank you. I know I see there's a lot of guests, but we could spend a lot more time on this, but I think we've given some people a lot of good stuff to think about,
Yes.
demystified a few things. So I really, 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 really appreciate you coming on. This is Kristina Hall once again with Hall Social Media. We will put the contact information that you gave to me into the show notes for your episode so that anybody who wants to can get a hold of you. And a
Yeah.
couple of other points before we wrap up. If you're someone like Kristina or me, you help private practices and you've got some experience you want to share, or if you're a private practice owner and you've got some experience you think your peers would benefit from, either way, we want you to come on PracticeCare and tell everyone about it. In the show notes for Kristina's episode and every episode, there's a link, couple of questions. Tell us what's on your mind so that we can get you on here as soon as possible. And finally, if you haven't done so, get on Apple Podcasts, get on Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, and subscribe to PracticeCare so you can get every new episode. Thanks very much, and until next time.